Life is like a blank storybook that is being filled as time is being passed. One story that can make readers laugh out loud or hold a bunch of information. One story that can make readers cry in despair or feel warm and fuzzy inside. Hannah's story did all of these things. It was the story of her life. Today we'll be celebrating the life of Hannah Young. Hannah was known by many, and she was a very inspirational person to all of us. She was a person to relate to talk to, or have a laugh with. She was always there for everybody. My goal is to share Hannah's storybook with all of you and have us recall how blessed we were to have such a beautiful person in our lives. Hannah was an avid reader since she was a child, and her life goal was to become an author. Now I will be able to give her that opportunity. In her storybook, there was 3 chapters. There was chapter 1, which represented her childhood and her elementary school years, and chapter 2, which equaled her middle school years and becoming a snotty pre-teenager. And chapter 3 was her blossoming into the most wonderful young adult. As I begin reading the first chapter of Hannah's life, I would like everybody to remember who she was, a smiley, bubbly, energetic young person, but mostly for who she has yet to be when the book is left open for the rest of us to create. Hannah was one of the most adventurous and daring kids I knew. She would always be willing to do anything, which made her very creative. She had so many opportunities to learn and grow, and take all of her ideas and turn them into something magical. When Hannah was a child, she was notorious for doing things that others wouldn't do. She had a desire to have adventure in her life. One afternoon, Hannah had a brilliant idea to take all the garbage cans from her house, the neighbor's house, and even the backyard of the church, and stacked them all up, one by one, against the side of her one-car garage. She thought, what a view it would be if she could see over all of the rooftops. And so she did. She carefully scaled the garbage can tower, and Hannah made it to the top of the rooftop, where she could see from sea to shining sea. This example is not unusual for Hannah, because she always wanted to try something new and be the leader of something that other people wouldn't. Some parents would be concerned about her well-being because she was very daring and would tend to press her luck more than she should. But she was very bright and somehow knew the outcome before she began her endeavor onto her next adventure. Because she was so daring to try new things, I knew that her parents were always excited to see where she would land when she got older, because she was not afraid of taking chances. Hannah was very adventurous and dared to do anything that she put her mind to. As I continue chapter 2 of Hannah's life, I would like everybody to remember the places that they have been with Hannah and where they would like to see her next. In her preteen years, Hannah was always had the capability of holding the interest of those around her. Hannah would read all day and all night, and believe it or not, she loved it. She would always come home every school afternoon when her older sister was there, and she would ask her what kind of homework she had to complete that night. If it was a reading assignment, Hannah would always offer to read it out loud to her because she wanted to learn what her older sister was learning. Eventually, Hannah became a bottle of information. She began finding it easier to talk to strangers and meet new friends because she had so much to talk about. She really enjoyed sharing her ideas with everybody, and she also had a very good sense of humor. She had the ability to make anybody laugh, even in the worst moods. I remember Hannah telling me that she had a lot of life goals in 7th grade, but the most important one to her was that she wanted to be as funny as her dad. She would sit in the living room all night with him and tell him funny stories about their day, and Hannah really appreciated the time she spent with her dad because he really made her happy. Hannah was funny, friendly, and would always keep us on our toes with new information she read about in some dumb book. As Hannah's writing comes to an end, I find that we still have blank pages in the back of her book. It would be best for her friends and family to fill these pages with our love for her. Hannah blossomed into a young, beautiful adult, full of energy and passion for what she loved most. In her early adult life, Hannah grew immensely through her literary sponsors and became very hardworking. Hannah had a lot of opportunities to get knowledge through teachers, and she began working closely with them on campus where she attended. She began working in the Learning Commons with all the books, right where she belonged. During her freshman college orientation, Hannah thought to herself that she would want this place to become a second home for her because she felt that they had so many opportunities that she wanted to be a part of. They had everything to offer her there, starting with her new position in the Learning Commons. Hannah had 2 other jobs besides working on campus. One was at U.S. Cellular, and the other was at a riding academy where she boarded her horse. She had a ton of experience at her jobs to help build her work ethic. She enhanced her interpersonal skills through her job and made enough money to pay for her tuition and boarding fees on her own. In her early adult life, Hannah grew immensely through her literary sponsors and became very hardworking. And her chapter 3 ended too early, but we are still able to leave the book open for the rest of us to help her out with. Hannah had a life just like a storybook, clearly defined by the chapters in her life. Her childhood, teen years, and short adult life she experienced with each and every one of us sewn into the seams of the binding. Even though Hannah's story ended short, we are still able to leave the book laying open so that her friends and family can continue her story for her.